Good evening, Ellington Composite Squadron. I'm Cadet Captain John Paul Stolle, and I'm just going to be running you guys through the basic process for you guys to be able to do the cadet fitness test at home. So there's going to be a few things that you need for this, and I'm going to go through each of those as I go through this test. But the thing is, the biggest thing that you're going to need for this is that you're going to need your parent to proctor this test. So I suggest watching all the way through the video to just get an understanding. I'll be doing the test myself, just to give you guys an understanding of how to do this test at home. But as I said, you're going to need a parent that is familiar with these rules as well to help you out, to record, test you, and tell you when you're done and keep track of your scores. With that said, the first part of the test is the mile run. Now this is pretty simple. There's only a few things that you need for this. You need a charted mile. So the best thing to do is talk to your parents and ask if they have a mile run area, or ask if they can get on Google Maps and do that, or get in their car and use their pedometer. There's many tools out there to track how far a distance is. So just track out somewhere that's about a mile long, or exactly a mile long, and make that mile. And then along with that, you're going to need your parent to have some kind of a stopwatch to go from the beginning of the mile to the end, and see how long it took you to do that mile. With that being said, we're going to get right back into it. Again, we're out here right now. It's about 8 p.m., so it's kind of dark, but I'd like to get this in before it gets too dark. I'm out here with my father, Lieutenant Stolle, and I'm going to be running the mile. So we've actually set it up so that it's a circular path, so I'll be coming back from where I started. With that being said, this is how you run the mile. One second.
Start. 6:15, 6:16, time.
6:16?
Yep.
Alrighty. And that's the run.
Good.
Alrighty, so we're done with the run now. With that being said, the next part is the curl-ups. Now, you're going to need a few things for this. Once again, you're going to need your parent to proctor this. You're going to need a mat, and you're probably going to need something like tape or cardboard or anything that's flat that you can measure the width of. And so what you're going to set this up like is you're going to lay the mat down, and then you're going to put the tape down. I'm going to assume it's tape. And the width of the tape has to be about 4.5 inches long. So, just kind of measure the tape out as necessary. Most duct tape is about, 2 inches. So you can put down 2 or 3 strips so that it's wide enough. And you're going to put that about in the middle of the mat, such that you can lay down with your fingertips touching the edge, just like we do at the meetings. Once you have that set up, what you're going to do is you're going to lay down such that your fingertips are on the closer edge of the tape. Your back is going to be flat against the mat. Your head is going to be against the mat. Your feet are going to be touching the mat, and you should extend your feet as far away from your butt as possible without lifting your heels. So it's pretty far. It's further than 90 degrees. It usually ends up being around 140 degrees. But as long as it's as far away from your butt as you can extend your feet without, lifting up your toes. Your feet should be a few inches apart, about shoulder width. And once again, your hands should be flat on the mat, with your fingertips on the closer end of the tape. Then your proctor is going to call begin, and you're going to sit up on the cadence begin, such that your fingertips fully cross and exceed the line. And then you're going to sit back down without lifting your feet anywhere in the process. And then you'll wait for your parent to call up again. Now at this point, the parent should be calling up every 3 seconds. So that's something key to tell your parents and make sure that they know that. they should be calling this every 3 seconds. So, just a rough estimation, it should sound something like begin, up, up, etc., etc. And that's how you do it. Until you reach 75, or you break your position twice, or you can no longer continue, then the test is done. 75 is the max. There's really no reason to go past that, but you can do sit-ups all day if you'd like. With that being said, that is how you do sit-ups. Alrighty, so here we are for the sit-ups. So as you can see, I have my mat set up, and this strip I actually set up to be about 5 centimeters, just so I get much past it. You can set up something so that your head isn't hitting the ground, but make sure that when you go all the way down, your head is touching whatever you have put down. So this is the sit-ups. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Alright, make sure you have your fingertips fully touching the closer edge of the tape. Your feet should be fully extended such that they're as far as possible out without lifting your toes up, and you should be completely flat. With that being said, the proctor will call up every 3 seconds. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hang on, just once. Okay. Ready? Up.
1,
Up.
2,
Up.
3,
Up.
4,
Up.
5,
Up.
40,
Up.
21,
Up.
2,
Up.
3,
Up.
4,
Up.
45. All right, good. Whew. And those were the sit-ups. Got about 45 on that. With that being said, the next portion is push-ups. So what you're going to be doing for this is you can just reuse the same mat. Your proctor is going to go ahead and call up every 3 seconds. Same thing, same setup. The only thing is that now you're doing push-ups. So make sure your arms are shoulder width apart. Your back is completely straight. Your feet are together. Your hands are flat. It should be such that when you go down, your arms go kind of out apart. They shouldn't be parallel with your body. That's why it's called a 90-degree push-up. And you should go all the way down, breaking 90. And then go back up. And you will continue that until you can no longer do any more, or until you have 2 form breaks. Any form break includes lifting any part of your body, breaking the straight body form, which includes going up in the V position. So, use that strategically as necessary. Just understand that you are allowed a maximum of 2 breaks. On the second break, your proctor will cut it, and that is your number of push-ups, however many that may be. With that being said, a few important things to remember is go as many as you can. Your proctor should call up every 3 seconds. So, there are apps out there that can help you with that. Or if your parent is really good with their multiples of 3, whatever you have to do to get that to work, as long as you're calling up every 3 seconds. Next, on to the push-ups. So this is the final part before the sit and reach. So basic setup, you already have the mat set up, so you simply need to use the same setup. Make sure your arms are shoulder width apart, back completely straight, feet together, and knees not on the ground. Your proctor is going to call up every 3 seconds. These are the push-ups. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Until you're ready to go, I suggest holding it in ready position, which is 1 leg up, 1 knee down. Make sure your arms are shoulder width apart. Make sure you're set up and ready to go. Let the proctor know when you're ready to go, and they will call ready up and then down. With that being said, these are the push-ups. You can go ahead and say up.
Up. down,
1,
down,
2,
down,
3,
down, down, up, down, 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 down,
Woo! Alright. So, personal suggestion: don't do it on the mat. You can do it on the mat if you want, but it does make the push-ups a bit harder. So a personal suggestion would be do the sit-ups on the mat. Don't do the push-ups on the mat. It makes your life easier. With that being said, the next part is the sit and reach. I'll explain that in the next video. Next and finally is the sit and reach. So the setup that you're going to need for this is a yardstick that records in inches, a mat if you'd like one, but most important, you're going to need some kind of hard surface that you can reach over the top of that's not too much taller than about 12 to 14 inches. If it's under, that's okay, a little bit, but you're going to shoot for around 12 to 14 inches high. What I have set up is is my couch. That's just 12, 13 inches tall, so that works. And you're going to set up your ruler so that the front 9 inches extend the edge, such that if you were to touch your toes, you'd get a score of 9. If you reach past, of course, you get more. But that's going to be the setup. With that being said, you have 2 parts, one on each leg. It's going to be set up such that one leg is up against your hard surface, and the other one is extended to about your knee area with your foot completely flat on the ground, and your knee extending up. So you'll see in a second, I'll show you what that looks like. After you finish on one side, you only get 1 try on each side. You're going to switch to the other side and then do that. You're going to record the score for both sides and then send in both scores. With that being said, this is the sit and reach. So, as I said, you're going to take your foot like this, and your other foot is going to be flat with your foot right by your knee. Let me show you guys for a second. It looks kind of like this, where your foot is straight and your other foot is flat by your knee, just like this with my foot flat. If I sit and reach and my leg kind of goes out of the way a little bit, that's okay as long as my foot is flat. I'm going to reach as far as possible, and my proctor, my father, Lieutenant Stolly, is going to tell me the score. This is the sit reach. You ready? Whoops. There we go. Ready. What was it?
12 3/4.
All right, 12 3/4. All right, so we're going to record that, and then we're going to switch feet. Other foot, same situation, but now on the other foot, with the other foot up and down now. Okay, same setup, streamlined position, all the way down.
12 3/4.
12 3/4, both sides. All right, good to go. And that is the sit and reach. So big thing, make sure that you're breathing out. Make sure your arm is in streamlined position. Look down. Don't overextend yourself. Push as far as possible, but don't kill yourself because you can pull something. But you get 1 try per side. The most important thing is making sure you have a surface that's about 12 to 14 inches high, and then that your ruler extends about like 9 inches. That's the thing, is 9 inches over the edge, so that if you were touching your toes, you'd get a score of 9. Alrighty, that was the PT test. This is something that you guys can easily do at home, and I highly suggest that you do because, many of us have a bit of open time, and it's a great time to get that PT test knocked out. So with that being said, there's a few things that I'm going to go ahead and outline that you guys need to have for this. So number 1, on the list is you need about an hour of open time to work on this. So just make sure you have that open. Number 2 is you're going to need to have your parent proctor this. This is not something that you do by yourself. It's too hard to keep track of the scores. You want someone that's going to be able to tell you honestly if your form broke, and you're going to need someone to help you out with the intervals as necessary. But besides that, the actual materials that you're going to need is you're going to need something to measure out the mile run, so a speedometer in a car or something like that. You're going to need a stopwatch. A lot of phones have that capability. You're going to need PT gear. Then for the sit-ups, you're going to need a mat. You're going to need tape or something flat that you can measure out about 4.5 inches for that middle sector that I was pointing out earlier. And then you're also going to need some kind of surface that's about 12 to 14 inches high that's not going to move around when you do the sit and reach. And you're going to need a yardstick that records in inches. So if you have those few materials, you should be able to do this workout very easily and record your score. With that in mind, the point of this is not to make your life harder. It's to keep all of us active in this time of inactivity, and just maintain that physical fitness that every cadet requires. My goal is not to have a bunch of test scores come in that are absolutely perfect, and I expect that every single part of the test that you did to be perfect. And if I heard that you form broke 3 times instead of 2 times, I'm not gonna flip my top and request that you're demoted. No. The point of this is for you to remain active. And if I see effort on your part, and your flight staff sees effort on your part to get this PT test done and out of the way, we'll check that requirement off. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. If it seems a bit hard, or your supplies seem a bit tacky, I know mine seemed a bit tacky at times, it's okay. As long as you're trying, as long as you're recording your score, as long as you're sending it in and trying and showing us that you're staying active, and you did the run, you did the push-ups, you did the sit-ups, you did the sit and reach, and you scored it, then you should be good. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I hope you guys can get a lot out of it, because we have to remain active during this time. We can't just let our squadron stagnate. So with that in mind, Ellington Composite Squadron, hoo-yah. Good night.